In a 2021 NIH study, or National Institute of Health study, it showed that even light physical activity can help to reduce trauma-related intrusive thoughts. Who wouldn't want that? Hey, Survivor! Welcome to episode 127 of the Vibrant Survivor podcast. This past week, justice started to move forward as one of the 7 defendants in Preston Lord's murder was sentenced. And I talked about this in the last episode, but that was before the sentencing hearing actually took place. Now, yours truly was there. It's happened. It's over. And wow, what a day. Whether you're following this particular teen violence case or walking out your own journey to justice, this episode's for you. And with 1 down and 6 to go in Preston Lord's murder case, let's talk more about how to protect your health while still showing up for justice. It matters. But first, let's self-regulate with a 4-4-8 breathing exercise, if you'd like. We'll inhale for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 8. And I invite you to shift your pelvis back and forth. Plant your sits bones where you're seated. See if you can improve your posture a little bit. Maybe give a little stretch, even if it's just a little improvement. Ready? Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What do you notice about your breathing after adjusting your posture? Grab your notebook and pen, and let's dig in. Hey, Survivor! Welcome to the Vibrant Survivor podcast. Do you want to disconnect from a narcissistic or toxic situation and heal? Are you Googling how to identify a narcissist, narcissistic abuse, and boundaries? Are you feeling stressed and lonely while trying to avoid being sucked back in and lied to again? Hey, I'm Lesley. As a busy wife and mom, I fell for the lies and manipulations of narcissists. I wasted my time, talents, and money on users who kept moving the goalposts. I wanted real relationships and business opportunities and to enjoy life with my family. Instead, I struggled with anxiety, panic attacks, and insomnia, and I couldn't trust my body or anybody until I took a holistic approach to healing. In this podcast, you'll find tips for healthy living, trauma healing, and boundaries so that you'll have the freedom, confidence, and inner peace to respond, not react, after narcissistic abuse. Take a deep breath in, let it out slowly, and just relax. This time's for you. When justice is starting to move, it can bring up a lot, to say the least. It's like emotional whiplash. Like there's this hope of, okay, finally, justice is being served. Let's go. There's hurt. There's validation. Maybe there's just a cloud or a sea of witnesses or supporters that make you feel like, yeah, this is wrong. We're not standing for this. And this needs to be fixed or made right. And then there's like grief, like tremendous pain and loss. And it's hard and it's heavy and it's hurtful. This past week, I attended the sentencing hearing for one of the 7 defendants in Preston Lord's murder case. And I talked about this in last week's episode. However, the sentencing hearing had not yet happened. That being said, yours truly was there in orange with a ton of people who came out to support the family and to honor Preston's memory. A couple of things that really stood out to me were watching these traumatized parents whose children were victims of this defendant pouring their hearts out, and not only talking about their children and the things that happened to their children, but talking about how what happened to their children traumatized them. Oh, I mean, it was just heartbreaking. Also, hearing all of these different victims, family members, expressing their desire to see the maximum sentence applied in this case. Powerful. Seeing one person sentenced doesn't necessarily erase the trauma. It doesn't necessarily restore safety, and it definitely won't bring a life back. And we saw that on Friday. As one of the attorneys stated, no one wins or is made whole, especially by our system. And as things unfolded, the maximum sentence, as it turns out, was not given despite the victim family pleas. And unfortunately, Preston won't be brought back. But boy, was he loved and honored during the course of that hearing. Survivor, you don't have to present perfectly or know how to feel or what to say, regardless of the circumstances that you're in, whether you're a victim or you're supporting someone else. Just keep showing up for yourself and your community. People notice, and it matters. Here are 6 ways to protect your health when facing justice-triggered stress. It's a thing. This isn't just emotional. Your body needs care when trauma is triggered. After all, the body keeps the score. Number 1, expect triggers and plan ahead. When you just plan for there being triggers, whether they come from other people or just the environment or something that's said, then you can plan ahead. You can have tools in your toolbox to ground yourself or be able to guide someone else in how they can best support you under the circumstances if you're the one who's going through it. Number 2, hydration and nutrition. Cortisol can spike during courtroom stress. Even if you are not giving a testimony or a victim impact statement, you could just be a supporter or an onlooker. Support your nervous system with water. It'll help your body and your brain. You can use a hydration calculator to dial in more specifically for what you need. And some of them will take into account your lifestyle. How much do you exercise a week? What kind of climate do you live in, for example? And there was an NIH study that talked about how ideally for women, at least 2 liters, and then for men, at least 3 liters of water is ideal. And then it's personal. So you'll want to take into consideration lifestyle and those kinds of situations so that you can really dial in and adjust accordingly. Eating whole foods, real foods, high water content foods can help you with the hydration piece, but eating real foods is going to help boost your body and your brain and help you to better navigate these types of triggering or traumatic situations. And if you need to supplement, just talking with your healthcare provider and finding out maybe areas where you may need supplementation. If you don't eat it, you may need it, and they can help you to dial in and figure out what those things might be so that you can follow up accordingly. Number 3, movement, even gentle movement. 20 minutes a day, doing something that you will do consistently can make a world of difference. Specifically, walking can help process trauma. In a 2021 NIH study, or National Institute of Health study, it showed that even light physical activity can help to reduce trauma-related intrusive thoughts. Who wouldn't want that? As a suggestion, you could take a short walk after court, maybe before court, or take a longer route to get to or from your car, to get some extra steps in, or take the stairs. You could also walk with intention. Pick up your pace, put a little bit more pep in your step. Maybe walk with someone for support, somebody who can, motivate you or encourage you or just even provide a listening ear while you get your steps in. Number 4, nature and grounding. Even a few minutes outside, like looking at trees, can help to reduce stress. Whatever greenery you might be able to find. I know it can be challenging when you're going to court buildings because if you're in a downtown area, for example, like I was on Friday, it's kind of a concrete jungle and there's not a whole lot of greenery going on necessarily. And, you might have to take what you can get. Maybe it's a shrub, maybe it's a little tree and a bench nearby. But nature can help to give you perspective on things or even provide a sense of safety. Getting sunshine, vitamin D production, fresh air, these are things that are going to enhance your well-being. Number 5, connection. Sit near someone supportive if you can. Regroup with your support team if you need to and when you need to. If you're going to lend support, offer solidarity in the form of presence. Don't worry about performance and don't take things personally because that can impact connection too. During really high stress times like sentencing hearing, sometimes people can say things in a tone or things that can come across less than friendly. But I think those are times to not take things personally, especially when there's a lot going on, and giving more grace. At the same time, there may be just cause to avoid stressful situations in people. Like, say, for example, if you're a victim, avoiding the defendant and making sure to not cross paths with people from the other side, because that could be triggering, re-traumatizing. On Friday, after the hearing was over with, we all kind of flooded out into the hallway, and the officers in the room let the victim's side out first. So we flooded into the hallway, and the defense side was still in the courtroom. And we were, of course, naturally started talking and giving hugs and talking about what happened. And at one point, one of the attorneys for Preston's family looked at me and said, I need to get them out of here. And at the time, I was hugging Preston's mom and talking to her a little bit. And then she went on to talk to some other people. And instead of allowing myself to get put off by maybe the tone with which the message was delivered, I just asked, hey, what do you need help with? And they let me know, and I was able to help them to get Preston's mom out of the building. And they were very appreciative and let me know that later. So those are things to keep in mind when you're in situations like that. Number 6, sensory regulation. This can include essential oils or a fragrance, certain objects, maybe handmade objects, personal items, little things that can help to anchor you during stressful situations like this. There was a fragrance that I wear, and during one of the earlier hearings in Preston's case, his mother was present, and I think it was one of the first times that I met her, and she complimented me on the fragrance and expressed how much she liked it. So at that point, I decided that, okay, whenever I go to a hearing for Preston's case, I'm going to wear this fragrance. And it was so cool to be able to do that on Friday during such a huge hearing, and to be able to give her a hug and to see her light up at the smell of the fragrance. It was just priceless. And it was just great to be able to provide her with a moment of joy in the midst of so much pain. And then as far as objects, one of my friends was at the hearing on Friday, and she made a sign early on, and she has carried this sign to so many meetings, town council meetings, hearings for Preston's case, and I think it says something like "say his name," and it's an orange sign, and she holds it. She brings it with her and she holds it up, and it's just powerful. Without saying a word, it just says a lot. The orange, say his name, honoring Preston, and I just love it. And she had that with her. And so that was a really powerful moment. And just something like simple, like a handmade sign, can really shift the energy or to rally a community around a cause. And then Preston's grandpa had this jersey on Friday, and he had it on with his jeans and sneakers, and it had Preston's number 5 on there. That was his jersey number, and I think it has his name on the back. And he delivered a powerful victim impact statement to the court. There wasn't a dry eye in the room. It was just so powerful, hearing him pour his heart out and just really honor his grandson. He just did such a phenomenal job in expressing himself. So never underestimate the power of the little things like that. Survivor, you may not control the sentencing outcome. We certainly didn't on Friday, and despite the victim's pleas, but you can control and plan for how you care for yourself and others through the process. And that was the power in Friday's hearing, was just seeing everybody come together and hold these families up in the midst of their trauma and grief through the proceedings. So honor your health and the healing power of community and witnessing, even if you don't say a word. Because sometimes showing up at your best, being there with and for others, checking in with them and looking out for them is enough to make a huge difference. Remember, when justice moves forward, your presence is a gift that creates a shift. Thanks for tuning in, Survivor. Your health and presence matter. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Hey, Survivor. Are you tired of feeling exhausted, stressed, lonely, and stuck in narcissistic relationships, and you just want closure and healing? I spent years rationalizing toxic relationships and dysfunctional environments in the name of community, connection, and career. As a result, I wasted my time, talents, and money on users who kept moving the goalposts. One of the worst was an alleged murderer who discarded me after I caught him lying, stopped helping him for free, and held my boundaries. Even though I dodged a bullet, I felt depressed, ashamed, and I doubted myself. I want you to know that you don't have to suffer in silence, feel alone, or crazy anymore. Come and experience the power of creating your own closure without the permission or participation of the narcissist. I've been no contact for over 4 years now, and I've grown personally and professionally. I have more clarity, stronger boundaries. I'm building a life and business that I've always wanted and enjoying real relationships. I know you want to break patterns of getting into toxic relationships, even if you don't mean to. And it feels so good to disconnect from dysfunction, set and hold boundaries, provide closure for myself, and focus on self-care, and to empower my kids to do the same. Go to closurecoachingsession.com right now and get ready to heal after narcissistic abuse. If this podcast has helped you understand who and what you're dealing with, sharpen your discernment, and move forward on your healing journey, share it with another survivor. Help me help others by leaving a review for the show. And let's connect on social. Take a screenshot, share it in your IG stories, find and tag me at The Vibrant Survivor, and I'll share your post too. I look forward to connecting with you on IG and seeing you back here. You're not alone and you're not crazy. Know who you're dealing with, know who you are. Take care, and I'll meet you back here next week. Bye-bye.